Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video, we are continuing our series through the trusted AD chain from Vulnlab. This is video number 6, which means I'm going to dive right in. If you feel a little bit lost, I recommend watching videos 1 through 5 before this one. If you don't, you're still going to learn a lot in the process. We're actually going to talk about how to abuse domain trust between two domains. And just to recap where we've been, in part 5, we ended that video by compromising the child domain controller. We got domain admin access, but there is a trust relationship set up between the child domain controller and the parent domain controller. And that is our goal now. Can we compromise the parent domain controller and therefore compromise both domain controllers? Now, if you're new to Trusted and Vulnlab in general, this is an AD chain. So instead of just one machine, we actually have two domain controllers connected together that we are trying to hack into. But hey, before we dive into the content, I do want to say, here's one of the best ways that you can support me. Hey, real quick, if you appreciate my content, one of the best ways you can support me is by enrolling in one of my courses or become a member over on Ko-Fi. I currently have 3 courses available right now. The first one is Introduction to Hacking Methodology. If you are new to offensive security and CTFs and ethical hacking, this course is for you. It's beginner level, but will bring you up to speed rather quickly. My second course is Introduction to AWS Pentesting. This will take you from beginner level to intermediate in the field of AWS pentesting and cloud pentesting. And finally, my latest course is Hands-on Phishing. This will teach you to do full phishing campaigns from the perspective of a pen tester or a red teamer. I cover everything from purchasing domains to configuring DNS and TLS to using GoPhish and Evil Jinx to do full phishing campaigns to bypassing MFA to even spoofing telephone numbers so you can do pretext calling alongside of phishing. And over on Ko-Fi, I have resume reviews, mock interviews, different membership levels, and you can even get my courses on Ko-Fi a little bit cheaper just due to the revenue share. So hey, whether you purchase my courses on Simply Cyber Academy or over on Ko-Fi, that really is the best way you can support me. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me, and hey, enjoy the rest of this video. Okay, here we are diving right in where we left off in part 5. Remember, we added Walters to the domain admin group on the child DC, and we were able to RDP a remote desktop into the child domain controller, and that is where we are right here. So I actually need to move my camera. I apologize. The camera is blocking my monitor a little bit, which is making it hard for me to see. There, I think if I do that, I can see most of my monitor. That's the downside of trying to do this. But I have RDP'd into this. I'm going to rename my terminal tabs here just to keep things clear in my own mind. Here is our evil WinRM session as Walters, I believe is the name. And here is my web server. We'll leave that open because we might need it. And we, of course, have our VPN. But we have compromised the child domain controller as Walters. We then added Walters to the domain admin group, so we should have administrative access on this machine. Now, a few days have gone by since part 5 and part 6, and I redid everything. Let's make sure I did it right. I'm going to see if I can access the administrator's desktop. I'm going to hit continue. And yes, we do have full administrative access right here to this domain controller. Now, when it comes to abusing trust relationships, one of the best resources that I have found is actually TryHackMe. TryHackMe has a few different rooms on Active Directory stuff. I showed you this in the last one, and then my freaking VM froze, so hopefully we do better now. But if you go over to TryHackMe, and these might require subscriptions, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure. But over in networks, we have a few different Active Directory rooms. Many of these are created by my good friend Amoeba Man. He is a content creator on TryHackMe, or content engineer, I think is the correct term, but it's only part-time. His full-time job is he is a pen tester and a red teamer and is actually a boss. So he not like you're a boss in that way, but like he legit is the boss for about 40 other pen testers. Genuinely nice guy. I've had him on stream a few times, really knows his stuff, and made these Active Directory networks. So they really are a hidden gem on TryHackMe. I think it's exploiting Active Directory, persisting. We're going to figure out which one it is on abusing trust relationships. I realize I did this in part 5, but let me go. Oh, exploiting domain trust. I actually see it right there. I don't even need to join the room because I'm not going to launch stuff, but exploiting domain trust here on exploiting AD room. So let's kind of go through this together. And I covered a little bit of this before, but we have a forest is a collection of one or more domain trees inside an AD network. Domain trusts are a mechanism for users in the network, also zoom in for you guys, to gain access to other resources in the domain. For the most part, trusts outline how the domain, blah, blah. There are two main types of trusts that can be configured between domains. Directional, the direction of the trust flows from a trusting domain to a trusted domain, and transitive. The trust relationship expands beyond just two domains to include other trusted domains. This one's going to be directional. It is common to have a root or a parent domain in a forest. In our case, that's tryhackme.lock. Actually, in our case, it's lab.trusted.vl. For each regional office, sub or child domains are created, such as EA, blah, blah. Or actually, this one would be, let me just show you this in our Etsy host. If I cat out Etsy host on my machine, you see that we have trusteddc.trustedvl. This is the parent or the root domain controller. And this labdc or lab.trustedvl, this is the child domain controller. So this is the one that we have fully compromised, and we want to abuse the trust between these two domain controllers. Let me jump over to this, and we're going to talk about golden tickets. It's not Willy Wonka, but here it is. The trust between a parent and a child domain is bidirectional. This is intended behavior and is used to share resources through greater transitive trust relationships. However, as an attacker, we can also exploit this trust to compromise a parent domain if we have compromised a child domain, which is the exact position that we are in on this trusted Vulnlab chain. So KRBTGT is the account used for Microsoft's implementation of Kerberos. It's the ticket granting ticket account in Microsoft Active Directory. I'm going to scroll through some of this. I'll let you read it on your own if you want to dig into this. Yeah, so Thick Cola said, not enough people do the red teaming path. It's an unreal amount of value. I agree. I've done 100% of the red teaming path. I've done all the AD rooms. I don't know why it shows them non-completed, but as you can see up here, I've done all of these. And I even have the videos on my YouTube channel. I think I live streamed these when I was going through them. Really excellent content. Hidden gem on Try Hack Me that more people need to be aware of. Anyways, there's 3 pieces. We want to generate our own ticket granting tickets to grant us access to everything. That is the golden ticket. In a golden ticket attack, we bypass the KDC altogether and create our own ticket granting tickets, essentially becoming a ticket granting server. A lot of acronyms, I know. In order to forge ticket granting tickets, we need the following information. We need the FQDN, or the fully qualified domain name of the domain. We need the security identifier of the domain. We need the username of the account we want to impersonate. And we need the KRBTGT password hash. I'm going to grab these 4 pieces of information and let's jump over to our notes, which I realize is actually just in this tab. And I'm going to do we'll do an H1. And we'll say creating a golden ticket. And so what pieces of information do we need? I'm going to paste that in from the Try Hack Me room, and we'll kind of fill this out as we go. So if we look over at the Try Hack Me room, I need to pull this down so I can tab back and forth. The first 3 are usually easy to recover. The last one requires a domain compromise, since the password hash is only stored in domain. Luckily for us, we have compromised tier 2 or tier 0 admins group, so we can honestly follow through along with most of this room on Try Hack Me. So let's give it a shot. You can see we need mimikatz.exe. Let me jump over to my Kali machine and we'll say locate mimikatz.exe. I assume I have it here. We'll grab this one. I've noticed the Win32, sometimes the x64 bugs out even if the machine is x64. What up, Hoimanoy? Good to have you here. My weekend was good. I'm going to copy this to my current directory. I'm going to open up a Python web server like so, and I'm going to go over to our RDP session, and I'll just open up PowerShell so we can work from within there if it lets me type it. I'll give it a second to open. I'm going to right click, run as administrator. So we run it with administrative privileges, and we'll hit yes. I'm going to CD over to C. We'll CD users. Dir, we'll CD to E Walters. Like so. I'm going to make this large. I'm going to right click here. I'll do properties and I'll change the font for you guys so you can see it a lot better. We'll do 36. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is I want to download that mimikatz.exe binary from my Kali machine and move it over to our Windows victim here. We can do that with wget, which is really just an alias for, I don't remember the PowerShell command. Get freaking file from Tyler's VM is what it is. Mimikatz.exe, output file of mimikatz.exe. We'll do dir, and we have it there. So now I'm going to launch that with // mimikat, geez, if I can type, mimikatz.exe. And now we have Mimikatz open. Now, to be very clear, if Windows Defender or an AV solution was on this machine, this would not work. You'd have to do more living off the LAN. But in this case, Windows Defender is not enabled. In a red team engagement, you likely have to bypass AV and EDR solutions. In a typical pen test, you wouldn't have to bypass it. The blue team knows you're there, and they will allow you to use your tool. So it depends on the type of engagement you are on, but this simulates more of a pen test, less of a red team engagement. We'll do privilege debug. That's the first command to run when you open up Mimikatz so that everything is running from our administrative session. Now let's jump back over to our Try Hack Me room right here, because if I remember right, it does a really good job of walking us through this. So step number one, we want to go ahead and get the password hash of the KRB ticket granting ticket account. So I'm going to quite literally copy that command. Maybe if we go over to here, and if I right click, it should grab it. I'm going to change the user to, I think it's lab DC, or is it, I don't actually remember what it is. I think I have it in my notes from a previous one. If I scroll up for the DC, is it lab DC, lab.trusted.vl might be what we're trying to go for. Lab.trusted.vl. All right. So we'll do lab.trusted.vl. And you can see it did not work. So let me try just trusted.vl. We'll see if that works better. Okay, that doesn't work either. Is it lab? What? What is it? Will be the DC server with the user account. Let me go ahead and open a new PowerShell. And we should, I mean, if we look over at this, whoops. We should have it in my notes, I think. Let's scroll to the top. I could have swore it was just lab.trusted.vl. Oh, DNS domain name lab.trusted.vl, DNS tree name trusted.vl. I assumed one of those would work. See if there's anything I'm missing here. Is it just... Oh, did I close Mimikatz or did I open a new session? Here we go. Is it just lab? I'll eventually get this. Trial and error. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's just lab. I got you. Let me go ahead and try to copy this. Really, the only thing we need here is our NTLM hash. So I'm going to grab that, drop over to our notes, scroll to the bottom, and let's fill out the information that we need. So the KRBDG password hash. I'm going to drop in a code block there. Also, I realized I accidentally closed chat. Let me get you guys pulled back up on my screen. The domain users always confuse me. Yes. How would you avoid AV to run Mimikatz other than disable Defender? You wouldn't be able to run Mimikatz, likely. You'd have to think about other ways of using PowerShell, which the Try Hack Me room might cover that. Let me glance ahead and see if it does. Well, we'll go through this first, then we can come back to that. Anyway, so it says before we go into exploitation, we first need to recover two SIDs. The SID of the child domain controller, which will impersonate in our forged ticket granting ticket, and the SID of the enterprise admins in the parent domain, which we will add as an extra SID to our forged ticket granting ticket. To recover these SIDs, we can use the ADRSAT PowerShell commandments. We can recover the SID of the child domain controller using the following command. So I'm going to grab that, and we'll go back over to our PowerShell. I'll go to a new one. We'll paste that in, and our identity is just going to be lab, maybe. Okay, labdc.trusted.vl. I don't know why this always confuses me. Under labdc. Oh, we need the actual name of this domain controller's full name, which if we go over to our in-map scan, at the very top, we have the NetBIOS name right here, labdc.lab.trusted.vl. I think that's what we need. labdc.lab.trusted.vl. Nope, I am wrong. Hey, what up, the Shy Hat? Good to have you here. I submitted a pen test report for Vulnlawyers about a week ago. Hey, DM me. I don't have access to the Vulnlawyers backend. I can check with Adam in a HomSec. Anyways, now what am I doing wrong here to get this information? You know, another thing we could do, this might do it. I believe in Mimikatz itself, if I scroll up, we can do something like, is it LSA trust? We can also do it this way. So you can see our current domain is lab.trusted.vl, and the domain, the parent domain, is trusted.vl. So that's another way we can get that information. We can see the SIDs right here. I forgot that was a feature here in Mimikatz, and that's how I've done it in the past. So the SID of our domain, that's the child domain. I'm going to call this lab trusted.vl, and then trusted.vl is right here. Okay, we'll just do it that way. I don't know why this didn't work. I'm sure I'm just doing something wrong. I assume lab would have done it, but I wonder if it's labdc. Actually, I'm curious. Let me try that now. Just out of curiosity. Is it just labdc? There it is. So that's all it was, but it should be the same SID, 661,000. Oh, no. So maybe that's actually what I need then. Why would that be different? Maybe someone smarter than me will be able to tell me. We'll follow along with this. To recover these SIDs, we can use that. We can recover the SID of the child domain controller using the following command. Oh, this would be the SID, I think. We can cover the SID of the enterprise admins group using the following command to query the parent domain controller. All right, let's go ahead and do this for trusted.vl. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab this full information right here. I'm going to copy it and add it to our notes. We'll just fill this up. We're going to need one of these or both of these. I'm just going to drop all the information in my notes so we don't have to come back to it. So I'll copy the enterprise admin information here, and I'm going to paste that in. But instead of THM root DC, we're going to look at the server trustedDC.trusted.vl. I think that's the name of it. And there we go. We got it, the enterprise admins group. So we'll copy that into our notes. All right. I realize I'm missing stuff in chat. Yes, this is a Vulnlab machine, but I'm using TryHackMe because I think they do a really good job explaining this attack. So we finally have all the information required to create our forged ticket granting ticket. We will use Mimikatz to generate this golden ticket. The command will look something like this, and you can see this long command here right there. So let me grab this long command. I'm going to copy that, and I'm just going to use it in my notes to try to piece together every piece that we need for this command. So, of course, do Kerberos Golden, user administrator. Our domain is going to be lab.trusted.vl, I think. Or is it labdc? Technically, it would be lab.trusted.vl, right? That would be the full name. So I think it's lab.trusted.vl. We'll just try it all the ways and till we get one to work. I'll just copy the SID from right here. I'm going to paste that in. Service KRBTG, that looks good. RC4 password hash of the KRBTGT user. I'm going to grab that right here and fill in the information. And the SID of the enterprise admins group. We'll grab that. And then pass the ticket is the PTT. Let's copy this full syntax. I'm sure I did something wrong, but we'll figure out what we did wrong once we try the command. I'm going to paste it in, hit enter on my keyboard. No way did it actually work on its first chance. Surely I did something wrong. I never do golden tickets right the first time I do them. This is going to be on YouTube later. Yes, this is part 6 of us working through this machine. If I legit did that right with no errors, I'm going to be amazed. So let's try this. We can see if we can load the ticket, which it should have been that golden ticket for that successfully submitted. I think we can use KList to see if it's actually loaded in. And so I'm going to exit out of Mimikatz. If I use KList, it says that we have a ticket for administrator at lab.trusted.vl. So that's cool. We'll see if we can dir out the THM DC. So that would be THM. So it's just, we're going to first check to see if it's a valid ticket for the administrator user of the child domain. So for us, that would be something like dir labdc.trusted.vl. I think like that. And I don't know how to spell. Gosh, I don't know. Is it this domain naming scheme is throwing me off. There we go. So it does work for the child domain controller right there. You can see we're able to dir it. Now the question is, what did I do wrong? Why is it not going to work for the parent domain controller? Let's find out. We'll do trusteddc.trusted.vl. Oh my goodness, no freaking way. There's the root flag. I am not going to show you guys a root flag, but I'll see if I can verify I actually get it. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. It does not work. The path is denied to administrator desktop. I'm pretty sure I have full administrative access to this. Since I can read it, can I, let me try like, what if I'm curious, if I CP, whoops, we'll do the right slash. No, okay, so access to that path is denied. All right, what if I CP it out to trusted DC, trusted.vl, see, I'm just going to go out to there. Okay, no, so I can't touch root.txt. Access to the path trusted DC, C users administrator desktop root.txt is denied. Really? Did I do something wrong? Oh, sorry if I'm giving away any answers right here. I didn't realize my flags for the Try Hack Me room would be there. THM root DC, they're able to grab the DC information. Huh. Well, can I just like DC sync the parent domain controller now that I have this ticket loaded? I don't actually know. I'm trying to think of ways that I can move forward with this. We have, or we could export. Okay, I have a few different ideas. One, instead of loading the ticket, I think we can export the ticket, move it to our local box, and then use a Linux with the ticket to authenticate and get shell access into the trusted DC root domain controller, and then figure out why I can't read the flag, potentially would be one thing that we can do. If I go back to Mimikatz, here, let me just, and go back over to my notes. I'm going to rerun this command, but instead of pass the ticket, we're so close. Privilege, but it wouldn't be a Vulnlab box if something weird didn't trip me up. Whoops. Okay, so we save the ticket to a file. And we have the ticket.kirby here. So now, what I think we should be able to do is on evil winrm, where we still have this session, CDE Walters, I should be able to see this ticket. I'm going to download ticket.kirby. Download successful. If I open up a new tab, do we have ticket.kirby right there? Beautiful. Okay, so now I have the ticket on my machine, and I think we can actually convert the ticket with Metasploit. Let me open up a new tab. MSF console, a drink of water. Oops. Because we need to convert it into a format that we're able to use from Linux. Search, I don't know. Here, right here, ticket converter. Let me use 32. Options, set input path. Go over here. I can't see because of my camera. Grab that as our path. And then it's just ticket.kirby, I believe. Yep, ticket.kirby. Set output path. We'll just go trusted. I think we'll be fine. And hit run. There, I just need to specify the output path. Oh. Oh, did I hit run? There we go. You should probably run the module when you hit run. And now we have our ticket right there. Now, I think with like PS exec and things like that, we should be able to pass it. I also realize I'm not watching chat. Or Kirby to John. Yep, that would be a good way. All right, let me scroll up in chat. I realize I'm missing a bunch of stuff. How you learn the hacking. Enroll in my courses. Thank you, Adam, for the kind words. Is there anything like EFS that would stop you from accessing? That's very possible. Do you think it's because of 32-bit variant Mimikatz? I don't think that should matter. You rightly mentioned that you have full access, and that's evident by Ulysses C. Exactly. Yeah, there's something odd. It could be EFS type permissions. But you know what? I think I might be overthinking this as well. Let me go back to Mimikatz. Do I have Mimikatz open? Oh, no, I don't. Is this where I have the ticket? It is. Okay. Privilege. Let me try this as well. Oh. I'm just learning how to spell. I apologize. Can I, with the ticket, since it's loaded in with KList, can I DC sync the parent domain and just get the hash for the administrator and then pass the hash that way? If that doesn't work, we could pass the ticket from my Linux machine, but I think I was overthinking it there. Let me try this. Would it be trusted.vl? I think so. Trusted.vl. Then I think it's DC, trusted DC, Trusted.vl, DC sync domain, and then all. The fact that I did that correctly is amazing. Okay, so I am able, so I for sure have like admin access. I just DC sync the freaking domain. Let me scroll up and just find the admin. I suppose I could just copy all of this. I should copy all of it, huh? Here, we'll scroll to the top. So I want to get my full syntax I just did there in my notes. And so, geez, I can't freaking do it. The reason that works, God, PowerShell sucks. The reason that works is because I did pass the ticket with the Mimikat session. It loaded the ticket into my PowerShell session here as an administrator. And so with that, I'm able to DC sync the domain controller, which means I can dump all of the user's password hashes. And then I should be able to pass the hash as an administrator and then figure out like what is the weird permission thing going on here. Wow. Wait, I'm dumb. Let's not do all. Let's do user. It's a trusted.vl. Okay, screw it. I guess we're going with all here. Let me look at chat. What am I missing in my syntax here, guys? Oh, here we go. Here's what I want is the administrator. Let me just grab that and see if this wildness that I'm trying to do works. Hey, peace out, Jonathan. Thank you for being here. Let me grab the hash. Okay, cool. I have access as the administrator to the parent domain. How am I doing on time? We're at the 32-minute mark, guys. We're at like the end of part 6, but I'm not done until we complete this machine because it's very close now. Okay, there's some weird permission. What do you guys think? Looking over at chat. Can I just like... This may not work. Trusted.dc.trusted.vl. Yes. Administrator, hack smarter, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think there's a weird lock on this file. Okay, once again, I don't want to reveal anything, so let me stop sharing my screen for a moment. All right. So it has, is it like EFS? I don't even freaking know. So if you open it up with RDP, you are able to read the file. So I have the, no, you don't have to crack it, guys. Here, actually, it's not a shared box, so I'm just going to change this flag name. And then I'll share my screen, guys. So when you open it in an RDP session, you can actually open up the flag file here. I'm just going to save this. I don't want to give away the flag. And so, no, you don't have to crack anything. Oh. Looking over at chat, Neffel says it has to be EFS, which would be the only reason you can't access it. Change the password, then use run SCS. I just changed the password and freaking RDP'd in, and I'm able to read the flag. I changed the flag so I don't give the flag away, but all I did, guys, was double-click root.txt, and I have access to the flag. And if we look at the permissions, that would be the same. Yeah. So it's something weird with EFS permissions. I think I haven't seen that on a machine before where I get full access. I think the command to encrypt a cipher, if you look at advanced under general. Oh, okay, let's see. Advanced. Here it is. Encrypt contents to secure data. So we needed to be logged in so it would decrypt it when we opened it. That was why. So it's just showing, hey, you need to be logged in to decrypt it. But hey, we successfully solved the trusted AD chain here on Vulnlab through 6 videos. So if this is your first time watching this series, I highly recommend going to part 1. I worked through every single part of this, part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we completed this in part 6, and we have compromised both domain controllers. So I hope you learned a lot in the process. I know I did, and I plan on making a lot more videos like this, where we take a machine and we just break it down to a bunch of different parts as we work through it. I think that helps people, so it's not like a 4-hour-long video, shorter videos, and teaching as I go. But thank you so much for being on this journey with me. I will catch you in the next one.